Hi everyone, Dave here. Thanks for joining me for another episode of Legends of the Spire. Great to have you with us. It's been a while since I brought out a podcast. The last one was Sam Hurd, which was earlier this year. Some great feedback from that one. He was a great guest. I'm hoping as we get to the close season, I'll record loads more. It's just been really busy, you know, how life kind of gets in the way. It's been worth the wait though for this next one, as I had a chat with Chesterfield title winning captain Jamie Grimes. Now, this was all came about because of something else that we're doing, which I'm really delighted to tell you about. I and Michael South, who has been photographing Chesterfield home games for years and years now, have teamed up to put together a book. The book is called The National League Years and charts that journey from falling into the National League to our resurgence as a club and gaining our rightful place back in the EFL. The book is going to be a hardback book. It's between 250 and 300 pages long, keeps getting longer by the minute, has well over 500 images in it, probably around about 90 or 100 quotes from all of the interviews that I've been doing as well, and really charts that wonderful story of kind of lower attendances, the COVID season, right back through to full stadiums and title wins. So it's a great story. From Michael's point of view and mine, we just wanted to have something physical together to kind of mark the last few years of what we've kind of done on the side as a bit of fun. So if only us two end up owning copies, so be it, but I'm sure it'll be really popular amongst everyone. Back to the podcast. Great to have Jamie with me. He had a chat about his kind of starting point in football, his early years, kind of moving around with a few clubs, a little chat about Aaron Downs, because he knows him quite well, and then him really finding his love of football again by coming to Chesterfield and putting in those incredible performances that have led to us being crowned champions. It was great to have a chat with him and to kind of round off this season with having a good conversation about everything that's happened, so I hope you enjoy it. As always, you can find me on Spire Legends on Instagram and Facebook and X and things like that. All the details of the book I'll put in the show notes, and yeah, just keep an eye on social media, you'll hear all about it. But here we are with the latest episode of the podcast with the incredible title winning captain Jamie Grimes. Here we go. So you were born in Nottingham. I didn't realise.
Yeah, Nottingham. Born in Nottingham and then brought up in Shepshed, which is Loughborough. Yeah, just normal childhood. Yeah.
Were you,
What
were
do
you,
you want to?
were you sporty?
Yeah. Always always my favourite subject of schools, PE. I had some really good PE teachers who really drove me to be the best I could be in athletics. I was doing athletics for the school. I played football, so I played rugby, and then ended up at Leicester City Academy. From under nines, like a development squad at under eights, and then under nines to under 16s. I was there, and funny enough, I've been coaching a little bit in the area, and a few parents have been saying about they've got kids got trials at like academies, and then it got talking to like my parents and some of the lads I used to travel with. The amount of effort that took from the parents to get me to Leicester 3 times a week, and then a game at the weekends, crazy. And then I'm hearing of some Chesterfield fan I was talking to at Nuffield, and he was like, his grandson's playing for Leighton Orient's youth, but he lives in Weymouth, so he's travelling that way 3 times a week. It's mental.
Yikes! It's the dedication. They're the unsung heroes, aren't they? The people that the parents, the carers, the supporters that kind of just trudge around with people for cold nights and early mornings.
And yeah, like you talk to Banksy, Jonesy, all the lads who've got kids, that like they do anything for the kids, but I haven't got them. But you appreciate what your parents did for you because they've put you in good stead to have a career. You had the best opportunities, and I've been very lucky to play football for most of my life. Not full time all the time, but I've enjoyed it. I've had a good career.
Yeah. Were you always a centre half then? Did you ever play anywhere else?
I was left back. Played centre mid a little bit, left wing maybe as like a 13, 14-year-old. Because I was always left footed, but I was never like the strongest. I was quite like gangly when I grew up. And then naturally, as you get bigger and stronger, you go to more
Further back.
central areas where you can use your physicality a bit more. But yeah, I played. Funny enough, I played in the National League. I played centre mid a few games. I played left back a few games for Kidderminster. Um, but yeah, centre half's my calling. Prefer it there. Enjoy my time there.
It's the curse of the left footer as well, isn't it? Sometimes so many players I've spoken to that are left footed was like, oh, such and such was injured, so I had to play left wing. Such and such was injured, so I played left back. And then you get kind of moved. You can sometimes end up being moved around, and then
Yeah, it's you say it's a curse, but I think like especially the gaffer now, he loves balance. So
yeah,
being a left-sided player, you're at an advantage because there's not as many as of left footers as right footers in my experience. There always seems to be a lot of right footers, but not so many left footers. So
yeah, yeah,
it's worked in my favour, especially at Chesterfield because mainly like left-sided. A lot of this season I've been like one of the only left-sided centre half.
yeah,
So
yeah. So what was the early career like then? Because like there's like Bedford, Kidderminster, weren't the Dover. You've moved around quite a bit, haven't you?
yeah,
Put the miles in.
yeah. So I was Swansea from 16 to 21, where I really enjoyed my time down there. Got to experience working with like Roberto Martinez, Paulo Sousa, Brendan Rodgers. But Brendan Rodgers released me at 21, and he just said, like, you need to go and forge your own career. Like,
Mm.
you're not going to play for Swansea. So he's released me, and I went to Yeovil, knew the manager, and he's brought me in as just like a little, like, I'll come in, we'll sign contracts in the afternoon. First training session, I got smashed, did all the ligaments in my ankle, and then just couldn't get a club. So I went from my last game, Swansea, was Championship playoff final to the Prem. Couple of weeks at Yeovil, getting fit, didn't start playing again until October, and ended up at Redditch United in the Southern Premier. Working part time as I did a PT course, did a bit of PT, and ended up delivery driving
Mm.
for a good 18 months while I was at Redditch and then Bedford Town. Which I think, as a centre half, I think that stood me in really good stead because
Mm.
I went from being a player who wanted Swansea, wanted to play out from the back, play good football, and got to Redditch United and get smashed in the face, fighting over 3 points on a terrible pitch,
Yeah, yeah.
muddy, sandy, and just never had more than one touch where I just boomed it and got used to getting smashed in the face and fighting for 3 points. I think stood me in good stead. And then, fortunately, Steve Burr and Gary Wild took me to Kidderminster when they were fighting for Mansfield, fighting with
Mm.
Mansfield for the title in the National
Ooh.
League. Yeah,
That's fun,
and
that.
they won it. They won it on the last day, and we were playing Stockport at home, and Stockport invaded the pitch. So I think it was like Santanta Sports, but it was on in the dressing room. So we watched Mansfield win 1-0. I think it was Matt Green scored,
Mm.
and we knew we couldn't win the league, but we were beating Stockport 4-0, and they invaded the pitch. So we had to go back and play the last 10 minutes. But then lost to Wrexham over two legs in the playoffs. But that was my first step into the National League, and then I've been at National League clubs or League Two pretty much all my career
Mm.
since then.
It's
Uh,
do you end up having those teams that just come around quite a lot then, mentioning it, teams like Stockport or Wrexham or things like that? I suppose they're just I suppose you have little moments that come around every season, don't you? I suppose if you end up around a National League, League Two level.
yeah, you play the same teams and a lot of the same players. But I definitely think the National League's got better and better
Mm.
over the years. Like, it's gone. A lot of teams are more full time now. There's only like a couple that aren't, and a lot of teams are much better coached, much better organised.
Mm.
Whereas when I first stepped into it, it was a lot of just like, let's launch it, long throws, like proper non-league football, as you can imagine. But it's definitely got better quality as we've
Yeah,
gone through.
I think all us fans had a bit of, well, naturally a bit of naivety when we came in, and you have that initial gut in, oh, we've just got relegated. We've gone into the abyss of the National League. You have all these dramatic moments, and then you kind of look at the fixture list, and you start looking at all those teams, and think, well, that's 6 points, that's 6 points, that's 6 points, and
Yeah,
then it's only kind of when you realise that all of those teams are a lot of them better than you, and you kind of have to go through the motions of thinking about yourself as a giant, and then you have to earn your way back, don't you? You can't get away with not having a midfield or not having a half decent goalkeeper on in this
no,
league,
no,
can you
no.
now?
it as well as I remember. I think when the season Chesterfield got relegated, was it? Do you have Chris O'Grady up top?
Yeah, he was around. Yeah, he was around
League
then. Yeah,
Two, and Christian Dennis. I
yeah,
remember because
yeah. He scored a few goals. Yeah.
I was at Cheltenham Town, and I remember coming to it was called the Technique or Proax at the
Hmm.
time, and we won 2-0. And I think there's only like 3,000 people there, 4,000 people there, and you just felt like I think it was it Jack Lester's first game in charge.
It could have. Yeah, it could have been around. It could
And
have been around kind of.
can you remember the sprinkler going off? So we
Yeah,
played,
vaguely. Yeah, yeah.
and it was we walked out. The atmosphere was unbelievable, and we think, oh, we're in for trouble here. And then the sprinkler went off for 5 minutes. It just killed the crowd, killed the atmosphere. I think Mo Isa scored, went 1-0 up, and then like we won 2-0. But like that could have been if that sprinkler hadn't gone off, it could have turned the tide.
That pretty much sums up that season, to be honest. If anything could happen just to kill that season, it
Yeah,
did that season. It was
yeah.
just ridiculous. Were you at Cheltenham at the same time as Aaron Downs then?
Yes,
Right.
no
All
doubt.
right.
Yeah, great guy. Unbelievable guy. He was assistant manager and now manager at Torquay, but he
Hmm.
was he was captain, but he had really bad knee injuries and he had to
Yeah.
retire when I was there and ended up just being like assistant manager and coach and constantly doing one-to-one sessions with me, constantly working at my mental game, working at um, different aspects of my game and helped me a lot. And I still talk to him now and again now, like if for advice
Mm.
or if he's looking for a player and he's asking about have I played against and things like that. So, but yeah, it's just Aaron Dad is just one of the guys who just want to do well, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean,
Really,
he was
really
really
nice guy.
young and fresh faced when he came to Chesterfield.
Did he
He's
have
kind of
grey hair? Did he have grey hair?
new from Australia, and it was pretty grey, even when he
Yeah.
was in his early 20s. But he was just didn't have any luck, did he, with the knees and things like that? And you'd have
Uh,
probably been a good partnership.
do you know what? I've not like when I play. I don't think I played with him, but I played with him in training. The
Mm.
way he attacked the ball, like there's not many I've played with that are better than him
Mm.
from corners and stuff. But we'd play like a little 11v11, and oh, knee's gone. Off you go for 6 months. Back you come. It's
Mm.
sad, isn't it? But it happens to
Yeah,
some players. I've been lucky enough not to suffer like that, but it does
mm.
happen to a lot of players.
Yeah. He won Player of the Season once or twice, probably, in kind of Saltergate days,
Did he?
before moving ground. Yeah, so he was really well loved as a player and a character around the town.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So he
yeah,
should do. He's a great guy. Really
yeah.
good guy.
So then, just before Chesterfield, then, so Hereford, like you say, it's kind of COVID season then, wasn't it? Around that period,
Yeah.
2020. We're talking. So how was that? How was that whole period for you being a footballer? It must have been just strange, like it was for all of us, I suppose.
I was I was in like a bit of a downward spiral as it was. I'd gone from Cheltenham to Macclesfield. Macclesfield had all their money issues. Had
Mm,
just survived in relegation from League Two on the last day to send Notts County down, and then to go bust. And I moved on after being injured for a few months. I
mm,
went to Ebbsfleet, just moved down south because that's where my girlfriend was at the time, and I walked into a team that wasn't getting paid again. It was financial issues, not getting paid till halfway through the month, not getting
mm,
paid for 3 months at a time. And I was just like, I was got to a stage where I was like, I love playing, I love training, but I just can't deal with the politics of the game. Like, I just want to
yeah,
go to a club that's settled. I just want to enjoy my football and be about football rather than like whether we're going to get paid or what's going on here, what's going on here. Like,
mm,
I just got sick of it. And then COVID hit, and it was we played the last game. We were playing Ebbsfleet Halifax. We played Halifax away. We won 1-0, I think it was, on
mm,
being BT Sport. And then I just remember being on the bus and Donald Trump was doing some announcement saying we're locking down and the whole world's going to lock down. We're going to fight this. And then we just got told to go home, and that was it, wasn't it? That was it for
mm,
football for that season.
yeah,
That was the season Barrow won it. It was so strange. Like, it was a real reset for me. It was like, what do I want from it? It was, do I want to keep doing this just to play, or do I just want to enjoy it? And I used the time during lockdown to just train. I just trained myself constantly. Like,
mm,
I just do. I watch videos. I talk to people I knew, coaches. I was doing a degree at the time, looking at the latest research, and I I just sprinted, I run, I looked at running mechanics. Joe, you had all that time, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Ben, so I just went up. I didn't have a club. Ebbsfleet, the new manager, Couturier, went in, and I had a contract with. They'd offered me one, and they withdrew it. They just said, "Look, he's going a different way. He's bringing his German players over." So I didn't have anything. So I was just like, for like 3, 4 months, I just trained myself on my own. I had a real refresh, and it got to a stage where I was about to go to Sweden to play
Wow.
because I thought I've played at Ebbsfleet. Sweden's season was starting up again because they weren't locked down. They'd locked down a little bit, and it was going to
Mm.
start up. And was going to play like I think they had 10 games left of their season. Um, so I was going to go and play for a team out there with one of my friends who was up there who was from my Swansea days. On the night before I was going, Josh Gowland, who I played with at Kidderminster, rang me and was like, "You need to come and play for me. Like I played with you. Come in." So I was just like, you know what, Hereford, big club, big history,
Mm.
passionate fans, and I looked into the history. I spoke to a few people, and like went there and basically found the love of the game again. And um, Josh Garner showed a lot of belief in me, got me going, got me playing, and really enjoyed that season. So yeah, that
Mm.
season was weird again because it stopped halfway through. If you
Yeah,
remember, well, below National League, you'd have still been playing.
yeah, yeah,
But below National League, it got to Christmas and we got locked down again. But the saving grace for us was that we won the FA Trophy. So we'd have weeks playing, like training, playing under 23s teams, playing friendlies. We played like Aston Villa's under 23s, played Port Vale reserves. And then we'd have a game against, I think we played Aldershot away in like the quarter final. We played Woking at home in the semi final. We ended up getting to Wembley.
yeah,
So that prolonged that. And in the process of that, Chesterfield, James Rowe at the time noticed and wanted to bring me in for the next season. So I played at Wembley and then I had a decision to make whether to stay at Hereford or come to Chesterfield. But I made the right decision, didn't I?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, but even this 3 seasons has been uh well, it's just been crackers really. There's been so many kind of ups and downs, and there's been moments where as fans we've thought, right, oh, we've cracked it, and you've probably thought it as players maybe at some points, and then there's been something that's happened, loads of injuries, or there's been just things that have happened, some things that you just can't you can never expect. So it's been a real journey, hasn't it, over that 3 seasons?
It has. It when I first signed for the club, I feel very privileged to have joined at a time that I did, where the club's on and up.
Mm.
Like from the first day, like you could feel with the trust and everything. Like the fans were starting to get behind us after I think the season before it was a quarter final loss in the playoffs to Notts County.
Yeah, yeah,
And you could feel there's a bit of a buzz. And we started the season really well, and we were like top of the league. We had Kabongo, Chishimanga scoring goals left, right, and centre, and um, we were a solid 3-5-2 and hard to beat with him scoring goals. And like I say, you probably remind me of a few now of things that have gone on, but it was like I say, I was privileged to be a part of it. Because as soon as I come in, I just felt like the pressure that we had to perform straight away. Like this is a passionate group of fans, and I've
mm,
learned that more. The longer I've been here, you just realise how much it means to people, and that's what you want to do as a player. You want to play for teams and the clubs to support like that. That's what you want to do as a kid, don't you? You want to play for in the big games and for big clubs, and felt it. And like you say, it was just ups and downs that season, and then again, I don't know how much detail you want me to go into it. Do you?
just keep going. Yeah, it's just ups and downs, isn't it? Like what,
Yeah.
going back to when you first signed, like was it what kind of research do you go into to a club when you sign? Do you kind of what do you look into in terms of like the area or the history or
So a big
things like
part of me, like this is during lockdown when I had my reset with the football, it was like, what do I want? I'm not really bothered about like going and playing in front of like 500 people and getting more money. It wasn't about money for me.
that?
Like it was like, I'm going to have to work. I'm not a good enough footballer to not have to work again. So let's just enjoy my football and enjoy playing where I want to, where good group of fans, good club that's going to be successful. So Chesterfield just ticks all the boxes for me.
Mm.
Like that's why I joined Hereford, because they're a club that have got a good fan base and a passionate fan base, and I just wanted to play in games where, like, I remember coming to, say, like in the National League, you go to Wrexham away, you go to Chesterfield away, you go to Tranmere away, Luton away, all the teams I played, and you've got like 8,000 to 9,000 people screaming, and that's the games
Mm.
you want to play, and that's what you enjoy. So when I had that reset in lockdown, it was like, I want to enjoy my football, I want to play at the highest level I can, and that's what the research I did. Obviously, asked a few people um, at about Chesterfield, and everyone I spoke to was like, just go and play for them, like massive
Mm.
club, and for the level, and it's just a chance for me to establish myself there, and that was just my goal. It was like, come in and see what happens, like a chance to prove myself again at the National League level, and the club that could get promoted. And I always wanted to win something. I wanted to be a part of a team that got promoted and being
Mm.
successful, because I'd been called in my previous managers, well, previous manager Gary Johns called me a nearly man. Like I'd nearly score a header, I'd nearly block it. And he said, "You've got nearly men, you've got players that all get there." And I wanted it, when, like you say, when we're talking about Chesterfield, what it was like. It was like I did my research, and I wanted to be a club that could actually get promoted, because I wanted that winners medal and
Mm.
that promotion on my CV. And like, this season has been incredible, because
Yeah.
it's something that will just, the memories that we've made. I haven't quite processed them all yet. I
Mm.
guess it's the same for fans. It's like you keep
Yeah.
thinking of things that happen, and you just like, you look back on this season with great fondness, and that's what I wanted when I joined Chesterfield.
Do you think that that period then during lockdown when you kind of had that, not like an epiphany, but like, that change in, thinking about enjoying football again, do you think that's played a big part in then? Because you've improved as a player since you've been with us massively, and a lot of
Mm.
it that might be down to coaching or whatever.
Yeah,
But you've also got to take some personal, it's personal achievement in that as well. So is that kind of time you spent working on yourself, like mentally or physically over that period, really come to fruition?
I'd say so. I'd say it was it wasn't that I always worked hard. It was like every club I was at, I'd work hard, probably too hard. When I
Mm.
look back to my childhood days, I wanted to be a football league player that much that I'd train in the morning, then go training, then do a gym session, then get back and I'd watch analysis, clips, watch football in the evening, and I'll get to the Saturday, I was burnt out.
Mm.
And I've learned that that I need to switch off and come away from it, and that's probably what got better as that I've got better with as I got older, just switching off and then being mentally fresh for the weekend, rather than being so hung up about being better all the time. But I'd say that was a turning point, because at the time, like, my career was on a downward spiral. Like a lot of players, you're not always on the up. You have ups
Mm.
and downs in your career. Like, I've been part time, full time, and part time again. And like Hereford, we were training like twice a week. Edge we were training twice a week because we weren't getting paid. And I just, it was a turning point for me, the lockdown, and then the good season with Hereford, and then to have Chesterfield coming for me was like a dream come true. And uh, like I say, I keep saying it, but I feel really privileged to be a part of the club at this moment in time, because it's on the way up. And I think me getting better is just, I always wanted to be a better player and be the best I could be. But I think I just found an environment where I feel really good about it. I feel really settled. I feel like I'm at home, or like I don't want to go anywhere else. I have a real passion and love for the club now after being here for 3 years. And I just want to be as good as I can to get this club back where it belongs. And
Mm.
that's what we've done this season. So
Yeah. And like you say, that like 21-22 season, that's the first season, isn't it? It feels like yesterday, but also like a decade ago.
yeah,
We started off like a train, didn't we? And and you had the Chelsea match and stuff like that. It was like a real that whole time, because the trust had kind of taken over, and there was kind of a bit of, the fans were a bit of a like, phew, we can actually like go out and actually go back to enjoying football now rather
yeah,
than worrying about everything else. Um, there was just this just really great feeling around the club, wasn't there? And it was kind of riding that crest for away for a while. Now you came on as a sub, didn't you, in the Chelsea match? Was it?
I did. Yeah, I
Um,
did.
because that
I
whole
played.
time was just incredible, wasn't it?
Oh, that. So the lead up to it, I played. I think we played like 5, 6, 7 games. We were playing really well. I was playing like centre of the back three, and then Gav Gunning, who was the captain at the time, got himself back fit. Played in the Halifax game, and then James Rose just said to me, said like the captain's got to play, and it's like fair enough, I'm gutted. I want to play against Chelsea, but Gav ended up starting him in the slot, and it was that game. My memory of that game is like we walked out for the warm up as players, and we couldn't hear the George, the fitness coach, talking because our away fans were just singing so loud. The atmosphere was incredible. Because Stamford Bridge, first time I've been there, it's like a wall of fans because it's like a two-tier and it's high
Yeah.
up. It was incredible. That's like the best away atmosphere I've ever been a part of. Like when it wasn't like the Chelsea fans were just sat down, like thinking, "What's this? What's this non-league club that's singing their hearts out like constantly, like in the warm-up?" But it was really. I've had a few moments like that when I've walked out, away fans, home fans. I'm just thinking this like, atmosphere is incredible, and this is where you want to be as a footballer. But that Chelsea to come on and play against like the likes of Havertz, Timo Werner, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, it's just an incredible experience, and I'm glad to have had that. And then was on the pitch when we scored the goal as well. So
Oh, so good. Like I remember walking to the ground, and we were walking, and you could see Stamford Bridge like just starting to appear, and it was that point that all the teams had been announced, and you just heard this like cacophony amongst all the Chesterfield fans walking, going, "Have you seen their team?" And everyone was kind of looking around, going, "Who is he playing?" Because we were all expecting like an under 21s team to come out or
yeah,
something, and you kind of googling who they are. But it was all these players, and you're like, "What?" It was just like incredible. And like when they came out, they were just massive and incredibly quick.
we we were the same. We were expecting like young teams. We'd done like James Rowe had done like analysis on them. Like James Rowe was really good at like watching other team, picking their weaknesses, and then changing us to
Mhm.
beat them. If you know what I mean. Like we'd always adapt to the other team, whether that's defensively or attacking wise. And he was really good at doing it. And I just remember him like looking at the team sheet when it come out, and he just was like just shaking his head, like, "What can I do?" But it was incredible, wasn't it? Like really remember that we did well to start with
Mhm.
in terms of defensively, and then we had one attack, and it got crossed, and Kovacic, who's now at Man City, like I think he's been World Cup finals, European finals, whatever, and he's just turned the burners on, sprinted, beat two men down the side, cross, Lukaku goal was it? And you just think that's the difference. Like that, how
Yeah,
sharp they were
yeah,
was just incredible.
yeah. And that goal, the Asante goal was just it was just brilliant. I was next to a man who I've never seen before and I've never seen since. But I remember at half time we were just like, oh, we just want a goal. It'd just be lovely to have a goal. And then when we scored, obviously everyone was just hugging people that they'd never met before and never seen since. It was just and it was really funny seeing all the Chelsea fans looking in complete bemusement uh, as it kind
Yeah.
of happened. But it was lovely how that kind of went viral afterwards as like people actually enjoying football like they should.
So my memory of it is, I remember, I think the ball's gone forward. I think it's gone to Loz, and Loz has passed it back to who was in goal at the time? Was it Lochi?
Loach, yeah,
Lochi's boomed it. Quasi's flicked it. Cavs run through, save, goal. And then I remember sprinting, thinking, "Yeah, we scored! Like we're going to celebrate in front of our fans." And then Loftus Cheek was just like shaking his head at me. So I was like, "We're 5-0 down. We've just scored." So I went over, give a little fist pump, and then walked back to the halfway line. But it's one of them. Like it was a great experience, but then when you think about it, we got beat 5-0. But it's nice to score a goal, isn't it?
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, it was brilliant. It was one of the most memorable games I've ever been to.
Really
It was
good.
brilliant. Yeah, like you could win a game 6-0 and it not be as good as that moment because it felt like that I've said it to like a few other fellow fans and stuff. That goal was not just a goal; it was like a sign of the club
Yeah,
being there again and in the right direction again. It kind of was quite a after everything that had happened over the previous 3 or 4 years. It was like one moment that kind of crystallized. Oh,
mm.
actually, now we're kind of pointing in the right direction again.
Yeah, definitely. Like I say, with the support we had there and them experiencing that, and that just it, it's going to make new Chesterfield fans. If you're not a Chesterfield fan and you've gone to that game or whatever, you're going to understand what the club's about, and just for the fans that are existing, it's a great memory. But like there'll be young fans there that will go, "This is incredible. I'm going to support this club for the rest of my life." And
Mm.
it, it's incredible, isn't it? That moments like that can. That's what you play football for, isn't it? For
Oh
moments like
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. And what was it like when Paul Cook then took over? Do you kind of worry a bit about like, oh heck, I've got to impress someone else, or do you do you kind of how and obviously he wants to come and play a slightly different style. Obviously, he tried to kind of
Yeah,
keep it pretty similar, didn't he, to get through to the end of that season? But
yeah. It's a strange time for a player because new manager comes in and you're just like, is he going to bring his own players? Is he going to change everything? But honestly, Gaffer from day one was just incredible with everyone. Just the whole mood of the camp just changed. It was all about. I have my first memory of him. I think we were at Weymouth away, and Danny Webb was still interim
mhm,
manager. But Gaffer was there. Basically, he was going to take over the next game. It's when Cabby got injured, and
mhm,
I'm there. And next thing, I'm walking to get food, and the Gaffer's in front of me. I was thinking I was waiting for the Gaffer, and he's like, "No, no, no, players first." Like he's like trying to serve me my dinner. So he's like all about the players, and I was like, "Listen, I like this guy." You know what I mean? And
yeah,
with a manager with such a good CV, I was just like, oh, it's incredible. Like I want to play for him. Like I want to impress him. I want him to take me on board, and I want to learn from him. And that's always been my mantra with him. Like he's like I think it's incredible. He's been so good for me. Like he just every day, like even today, like we won the league. He's stopping training and being like, you can do this better. You can do this better, and putting me in positions and trying to get me to step onto the game with the ball and things like that. And he's just made me such a better player. Like the amount of clips I've seen, the amount of telling off to give me as well. But it's all you feel like it's all out of love. So it's like you feel like he loves you as a player and he makes you feel 10 foot tall when you're out there. So if he says it, I'm gonna try it. And then
mhm,
sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But
yeah, yeah,
it's it was like I say, I'm privileged that I survived that time. And then he came in and we hit it off straight away. And like it was difficult because the Gaffer's got a way of playing which is all really attacking.
mhm,
And the James Rowe was really defensive. Like I said, he'd always change his teams to match the other team,
mhm,
and we play a three at the back, and we'd be a lot of like man-to-man defending. Whereas the Gaffer wants to play expansive. We're going to have the ball. We're going to play. We're going to stay in our shape, and we're just going to be better than the other team. And he tried a few games with four, tried a few games with a three, and then in the end, Gaffer's a very clever football tactician. He's just gone right. We're going to stay as a three, try and grind some results out. I think it was the playoffs,
mm,
just for the playoffs, Halifax, that we went to a four, and the high line that we'd always drop before we were playing a high line, and it just kind of clicked. And it was that game, Halifax away, when we won 2-1, was it 2-0 in the end?
yeah. Was that the Jeff King, the great Jeff King goal?
Yeah, the shot.
Was it?
It was a
Yeah,
Danny Rowe header
yeah, yeah, yeah.
from the Jeff King
Which I
corner.
just missed, I think. All right, no, I just saw it. I'd had an absolute nightmare on the M62, and I think I
Oh,
got
no.
in just as the corner was being crossed into the box.
Oh. But that was funny enough, right? That corner, we played Halifax a few weeks before, and we tried to work exactly the same corner. And we'd watched it back, and like we'd got the timing completely wrong. The runs were completely wrong, and like the gaff was fuming. Like we've told you to do it, it's not done it. So that corner worked perfectly, but we'd got it wrong for a couple of weeks before. And Danny Rose scored a great header. Danny Rose, unbelievable finisher,
Yeah, yeah.
unbelievable player. Like he scored, and then he just we grew in confidence, and that was. I think we'd played maybe Woking in the league before that, where we played the four and
Mhm.
squeezing high and playing. And it was just that started to give us that bit of belief. And I was thinking, I finished that game thinking we could go all the way here, like go to Solihull and win.
Mm.
But like it didn't end up happening. We started well and conceded a few goals, and Solihull were the better team that year anyway. They were playing really well, weren't they?
Mm. Yeah, yeah.
Wish we'd have got through it. I think we'd have won. We'd have beat Grimsby at Wembley, but it's just one of them things. But it was that moment that I was like, you know what? If this clicks, we're going to be unbelievable next year. Like,
Mm.
and then obviously off season, Gaffer's first off season brings in recruits players that he wants with the right character, with the right setup to the way he wants to play, and then just been building and building, getting better since then.
I remember talking to Ollie Banks, and he was saying that there was like from his first spell at Chesterfield when he was quite young and fresh faced,
Yeah,
that he'd had an absolute stinker of a game, and Paul Cook pulled him into the office on a Monday morning. And he thought, "Oh heck." Um, And then he came out of that meeting afterwards because Paul Cook had said, everyone has an off day. You'll be great next match. And he kind of left
Yeah,
feeling kind of, like you used to said, like 10 feet tall at
yeah,
the end of it. Is it just, I suppose that's just having that kind of leader that also kind of trusts you to go out and make some decisions on the pitch and things like that, and not be so
yeah,
restricted. It must be quite a nice thing because football is a creative art, isn't it? Like anything else. So you want to be able to express yourself as well as kind of follow a plan, I suppose.
yeah. I think he just understands. Like he has his standards, he has what he wants, but he understands that we're not robots. We're going to make mistakes, and like you say, if he will never shout at you if you're doing something he's not asked you to do.
Mhm.
Like he'll shout if you're doing something that he's not asked, but he's telling you to play away. You play that way. Like sometimes he moans at me for certain things, but it's because my instinct and what I've brought through my career takes over, and I'm trying to do something. He's like, don't do that. I don't
Yeah,
want you to do that. Make mistakes doing how I want to play. But yeah, he's put so much trust in me, where sometimes I probably wasn't playing my best football, but he just keeps sending me out there, and like he'd be like, look, believe in you. Like you've got these attributes, this attribute. You're a very good player. You've got to believe in yourself more. I believe in you. Now you need to start believing in yourself,
yeah.
and that's probably what I feel like I've got better. But a lot of it's mental, just believing that I'm a good player because
Mm.
he's put that belief in me.
And you've hardly missed a game under him. It must be less than a handful or something.
The first game I missed was which was through a little niggly injury, was the Kidderminster game.
Yeah.
The other miss was the suspension.
Mm.
But yeah, just constantly picks me, and I just try and stay as fit. Like some games I've been really ill playing, or I've had injuries that I'm just playing through. But he just wants me out there. When he first come in, when he was at Weymouth. I got injured against Weymouth when
Mm.
Cabby got injured, and I was playing with that injury for the rest of the season. I think I come off against Notts County with it at half time on TV.
Mm.
But he went to me, went, it's not. He had the physio in there, Emma, at the time. He was like, it's not going to get any worse. Like, do you feel like you can play? And I was like, yeah, I'll play. Like, I'll just put painkillers and just get out there and play. And that's what I did for that end of that season. And then, like I say, just because he had that trust in me, he just wanted me out there playing. And like I say, I just try and be fit and
Mm.
do my best for him because he does the best for me.
Yeah. I suppose the last thing you want to do when you've got this squad of players around you is miss a game.
Oh no, it's frightening. It's frightening. Like we've got 22 players that you can put out there, and you just think, right, we're going to win a game at the moment at this level. Like you've got Coldclough, Berry, both unbelievable going forward. You've got Dobbs, you've got Banksy's like the best player I've ever played with. Like technically, him and DJ, just frightening. And the things they can do with the ball in training, just so much talent. And
Mm.
that's credit to the club for putting that together. That's credit to the gaffer and recruitment for getting them all in together. And he's very big on characters, I think.
Yeah.
Like we never sign anyone that you comes in. Everyone that's come in has been like a really good lad, like
Mm.
really like similar personality to what we've got. We've got no one in the dressing room that you go, oh, I wouldn't want to see you after football. You know what I mean? You're not. Everyone gets on really well, and
Mm.
that's part of the gaffer's recruitment. He gets everyone that's works hard, willing to run, willing to work for the team, sacrifice for the team, and just a good guy. That's what you need. You need a team like that to go forward.
And it's interesting that he's probably had a similar experience to you maybe over the last few years after he'd kind of had kind of a spell at the end of Wigan that was maybe not so enjoyable and the spell at Ipswich that was maybe not so enjoyable because he kind of did the podcast with me like a couple of weeks before, a
Did
few
it?
weeks before he came back. So he's kind of also in that position where he wanted to enjoy football again a bit like yourself, which is quite interesting when you've got kind of manager and captain that have probably had the same experiences over the last few years.
Never thought about it like that, but yeah, maybe. I know he had a tough time at Ipswich because, like, he talked about like the how the team just didn't work out and
Mm-hmm.
what he was trying to do weren't coming across, and he must have had times when he's been with us, like thinking, "Am I going to get my points across?" But we've just got a group that work really hard, and like I say, I think everyone buys into him and what he wants to do, and like you got the staff around him, you got Robbo, you got Webby, Kieran Dyer now, you got Paddy, you got Bucky. They're all great guys, and you just want to listen to them and take in everything you can. And getting his points across, and we worked really hard on the training ground to do that, and it's paid for showing fruition now, isn't it? With
Yeah.
season we've had and the performance we put in.
Mm. The playoff final defeat then. So it was absolutely gutting, the playoff final defeat. But at the same time, it felt quite a positive in that we as fans had all seen that you'd all given everything on the pitch, and we were better than Notts County on the day. Let's face it, we should have won that match. So it felt like a it felt like a positive to me. I remember having to chat to some Notts County kids that were on the tube on the way out. I don't know why they left Wembley so early when they just won the playoff final, but they were all really happy about it. I kind of left a little bit philosophical, still obviously really gutted. I guess your experience might be slightly different to that, but it was kind of it's everything that's happened this season is partly down to that one match, isn't it? And not wanting to have to go through that again.
Yeah, 100%. It was that season was like we went from the Halifax and Solihull games in the playoffs, and we were absolutely good about that, and that drove us on that season. And we just knew we were trying to get promoted, and we were going up against Notts County, Wrexham, and we kept pace with them, didn't we? That season to start,
Yeah.
and then we're still growing as a team, and we'd lose a few for counter attacks or sloppy goals, or we were growing, and we weren't quite at their level yet, where they were really consistent and we weren't. We ended up fighting with Woking for third, but we felt like we were the third best team in the league that season. And then you got the Bromley game before that, which was incredible in front of our fans going to extra time, and the pitch invasion where I got injured by a fan come over to hug me after the game, drunk, slipped on the wet grass and injured me for Wembley. So I was full of painkillers at Wembley because I had a bad knee because he fouled me on the pitch. But that was an incredible moment, that with the pitch invasion, and then the elation of that, and then to Wembley, the whole experience of it was just incredible. I'd been with Hereford in the FA Trophy, but to do it in a playoff final was so much on the line, and like how well both sets of fans travelled. Our fans were just like, but Notts County, you wouldn't want to play. You want, no disrespect to like a Boreham Wood, but you don't want to play a Boreham Wood there because you'd have like 5,000 one side and then 40,000 the other.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Fair play to both sets of fans. They travelled really well, but like for that day for our fans was incredible. Like I keep going back to that clip I saw after on the radio.
Oh yeah.
You're aware of it, and it was so right. Like you just saw fans of all different ages and like just there, just with their support, love for the club, and you just as a player going out there, you just feel like all that tension, all that passion just rolled into one. It's just such a good day. Something that'll always stay in my memory, but probably for the bad reason, the loss at the end. But I think as a team and as a club there, I think we did ourselves proud. From fans to the staff to the players, I think we lost on penalties and we felt we were the better team. We felt we should have won. It was just unfortunate that it's gone to penalties in the end. We probably should have saw it out, but we've lost like that. But then that, I think I did an interview after the game, the championship game, and they asked me like, when did you? Obviously, Wembley's been mentioned a lot, losing. Like, when did you get over it? And I was like, can I say today? Because that's the only way you were going to get it. The only way we were going to get over losing at Wembley was winning the league the next year. And like I say, it was just like an incredible day for the club in terms of, I don't know how you felt as a fan, but like it just felt like we're ready to go now. Like we're ready to get up. We're ready to go. Yeah. We pre-season, I hardly had an off-season. I was back in training, ready. Let's go. Like I want it. Like we've got to win this league. And I think every player came back that way, and it's been driving us all year. Like from Christmas time, I think it's been mentioned in at least 10 team talks. If not the gaffer, if it's not a player saying, if it's not one of the coaches, like we don't want to go to Wembley again. Think about that pain. Use that pain when you're feeling a little bit tired, or you might have a little niggle you're carrying, or it's just not quite your day. It was like, think of that pain. It can't be as bad as that. Yeah. So let's get through it and let's get over the line. The lads have been incredible this year. I know we've won it. We could have won it a lot earlier than we did. Our form hasn't been great, But that time, December, January, lads were incredible. Like the sacrifice we made, like everyone were training every day. Like there was no one doing their own thing socially. It was like, right, we've got a job to do. We've got to get this club back in the league, and that's why like we're so tight as a group because we've sacrificed a lot together. But that's why we've been successful.
Yeah, it was that 5 minute spell against Solihull when we were 2-0 down and went to 3-2 up that
Yeah,
I walked out the ground after that match. I was like, we've won the league, easy
yeah,
peasy. Because you just felt like that 5 minutes. If a team can just go right, okay, and kind of put the hammer down for 3 minutes, and it's just that kind of said it all. I
we've
thought
had that all season. We've had that extra gear.
Hmm.
We've had games where we've been sloppy and we've lost games we shouldn't have lost, or we drew games, or we conceded sloppy goals because we've just been off the pace a little bit, giving the ball away or defensive mistakes. But we know and we believe as a team we've got that extra gear where we can score goals at will. It helps with the players. You've got obviously the firepower we've got, it's incredible, but we've got that belief as a team, and you saw that against Solihull. I was in the stands praying. I'd been suspended. I hadn't had the game before. Because I knew if we'd have lost that game, I'd been hated. Like the gaff would have been on me, but because we won it, and then I missed out on the Watford game, didn't I? But then I was back in, so it was just credit to the lads. Shows the squad we've got, and credit to the lads for just pulling through and winning all them games over that period.
And you really gave, I think, it might be completely unintentional, but after the Wembley defeat, lots of players put out their own personal messages on social media and things about determination for next season. And then throughout the summer, there was lots of videos. I remember there was a video of Dobra like training throughout the off season, of which we're all kind of doing it, but kind of unintentionally or not, the communication through that period from the players to all of us as the fans kind of was absolutely on pitch, because it kind of said, right, okay, we're going to win the league next year. Like there's a determined group here that are going to not put that right, because you wasn't anything to put right, but to actually get that goal. And then that's probably fed through into the atmosphere of the fans right from the start of the season. It's the first time I've ever put a bet on Chesterfield to win the league ever.
Right.
And thanks, paid for my season ticket. Thanks very much.
What did you get?
I think it was. I think it was. What did I get? Like, I think it was. I think it was only about 10-1, something like that. And
Right.
it was. I mean, it was pretty good, and I didn't put that much on it, but it paid for a decent chunk of my season ticket. But I think for all of us fans, like that period, you kind of put a lot of belief into us going into the new season, which was kind of probably really pivotal from our point of view in terms of supporting you on the pitch.
Yeah, I think like that Wembley game, everyone felt the same. Like you've got Mike Jones has been there, done it his whole career, and he's gutted, and he's saying like, lads, we've got to go again, and everyone's pulling the same way, and everyone felt it, and it's I think the club come together that day, because if you're saying that and we're saying the message, it's not intentional at all. We're just all feeling the same, and I think a club that's together is a powerful thing, and I think that's come. Like the club even recruiting really well this summer. They've just gone, right, we're signing Will Grigg, Tom Naylor, Harry Tyrer, Michael Jacobs, and all of a sudden you're like James Berry, and you're like, look at these players that are coming in. We mean business here, and like you must have seen that as fans, and then there's players coming in, and we did after Wembley. So Wembley, our pre-season, we come back to pre-season like a week early. We'd all like a lot of lads been training, and we went to Portugal. The club paid for us to go to Portugal as like a pre-season trip. The gaffer was like really big on it, and we've got these new players coming in, and it was 8 degrees. They had like a heat wave out there, and we were running from day one. Like we're doing like 1K runs, we're doing pitch runs, we're doing Kieran Dyer loves murder ball, so we're playing murder ball in 38-degree heat. And I even had a blood test when I come back because I thought I was ill, because I was like, I can't run that bad. I was like the dehydration was that bad. But we came back from that trip. We had a golf. We had a few players who all played golf together. We had a meal together one night, and we came back from that trip, and it was like in pre-season we'd felt like we'd been together like 6 months. The club paying for us to go integrated all them players together, and we came back, and I think we beat Matlock like 9-0. That was our first pre-season friendly, and a few fans have said to me, that was when I knew. But like as players, we did that without even thinking about it. It was just like Gaffers drilled all these things into us, and we were just like a machine, just doing it. And that's when I sat down. I was like, like I think we've got it. We've got it right. Like that early in pre-season, and then like I say, I think all the fans thought it, and the club thought it, and it was a club going in the same direction.
Mm.
That's the end result is what we've got.
Yeah. And your job as captain, then what kind of captain are you with all those great players? Are you a come on guys captain, or are you kind of a bit of a softer captain, do you think?
It's something like people ask me. It's something I struggle with because I don't think personally I'm like the best leader. I think there's better leaders in the team in terms of the way they talk, the way they are with the lads. But I always think when I was younger, I was captain of Dover, I was captain of Kidderminster, captain of Cheltenham at times. My thing was I wanted to be like a shouty leader, and I thought I had to lead that way. But as I've got older, I've realised that I'm not really that guy. Like
Mhm.
on match day, I'll shout in the dressing room. I'll be like, what's going through my mind, trying to get people motivated, trying to. Different players need different things. Some people need an arm round, some people need a shouting at, some people need a laugh. But I'm not like the loudest person naturally. Like in the dressing room, like I'm quite quiet. I like things done right. So
Mhm.
if that's from the dressing room being clean after the game, that's just a simple thing for me. If it's not me doing it, I'm getting one of the young lads to do it. And training, gym work, everything. I try and do everything the best of my ability. And then if I'm asking someone else to do it, I'm not asking them to do anything I'm not doing. So
Mhm.
that's how I like to do it. And it's not. I wouldn't say I'm like a shouty leader, or I don't even think I'm a good leader. Like I think, like I said, there's better players in the dressing room for that in terms of the way they are. But my thing is just I lead by trying to lead by example, try
Mhm.
and work with and get the most every drop out of myself. Like how good can I be? Can I be the best version of myself? And if I'm asking that, I want you that. Like James Berry, what are you doing? Like
Mhm.
Amanda Dobra, what are you doing? Like me and Dobbs now at the minute, every morning we're playing two touch. But that's me being selfish because I want to improve my touch. I want to get better on the ball. So I want to get some of the better players to play with me. So I have to wind him up a little bit to get a little bit of a kick from him so he wants to play against me. But that's what I like to do. I just like to train hard and work hard and do everything right. And then match day, just give everything I can and try and lead like that. It's something I've probably struggled with this season when I'm thinking, what can I do better? I need to do better for these boys, but it's something I'm trying to develop now and going to next season. If I'm captain again or whatever happens, I need to. Even if I'm not captain, I'm going to try and lead the lads around me to be the best they can.
So finally, then, like the Boreham Wood, the kind of title winning game, 2 goals. Uh, that must have just been like dream come true. It's like Royal Rovers stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, it's mental. I still haven't processed it. Like
Yeah.
it still seems like surreal. It's just we going into that game. Obviously, we'd had the Halifax game, we'd had the Dorking game that we'd lost. We drew a few at home that we shouldn't have drew, and we weren't in that great a form. And we just that game, I think we just did a job on Boreham Wood. We were just there was no way they were beating us that game, and um, I've been getting some stick from Robbo for not scoring enough goals. He asked me how many career goals I'd got. I said, "Oh, I got 22," and he was like, "What is that? What were you injured for half your career?" I was like, "No, I've played over 500 games." He was like, "You're not a goal scorer, right?" So he's been giving me some stick. So I'm always working with Webby, trying to think of ways to get in there. But most of the time this season, I've been backstick kind of decoy because I always get marked by
Yeah.
the biggest guy.
I bet, yeah.
So like we go to Boreham Wood and not Boreham Wood, we go to Bromley and Webster's marking me. He's massive, so I'll just stand out the box. I'll come and mark me. Then that's Tom Naylor, Ty Williams, Ash Palmer, Will Grigg go and score because
Mm.
you've got the biggest man out of the box. But I wasn't even for the goal. I wasn't supposed to be there.
Oh, okay.
Fifield, I was supposed to go around the back, but Fifield was reading exactly where I was going. So I went and I saw him like really gamble where I was going. I was like, sorry, I'm going near post. Ran in, gone over Nail's head, headed it in, goal. And you just think, like, goals happen like that. You just don't really think about it. And
Yeah.
incredible because we had nine, nearly max crowd on it, 9,900,
It's
whatever it was.
ridiculous. Yeah, yeah.
It was incredible to score in front of that. The noise and just the elation because we knew we won the lot. We've got a real chance of winning the league here in front of our fans, and it's incredible. And then Dobbs is still not happy with me about the second one, but I had to tap it in, didn't I? Like I can't not.
Yeah, yeah,
If
yeah, yeah.
Fifield behind me and he clears it, they're like, "Why haven't you scored?" So yeah, it was to get to first brace in my career and first league win in my career. So it was a incredible day, and then that atmosphere after, just something I'll never experience. I don't think I'll experience again.
Who cut your
Um,
nose? You had a bit of a
that
cut
was
nose.
that was in the game.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, so must have been 10 minutes from the aim from the end. Went up for a header with Cabs. I've headed it, and he flicks his head back, and it's just hit me on the air, and it's like my nose. I've broke my nose that many times. It like clicks, and then so I just like click it, but it started bleeding. So I'd wiped it a bit, and then obviously I was kept wiping it in the game to keep off because the ref would take me off. And then we get there, everyone runs on, you end up on someone's shoulders, and then you don't think about your nose, do you? And then I've watched the interview, and there's all blood running down my nose. It's just, but it's
I thought you'd
amazing,
been
man.
injured by another pitch invasion. I thought it was
The
history
lad
repeating
said
itself.
that. The lad said that in the dressing room because they were like, "Not again." I was like, "No, don't worry, it won't this time." But we went in the dressing room after. Obviously, you're there singing. It's incredible. You've got the TV cameras there. You've got everyone on the pitch. You go in, everyone's bouncing around. There's beers, there's champagne. It's incredible. You're all the staff in there singing. Um, and I had to go and see the doctor to get my nose cleaned up because I was like, I can't be going out there for trophy ceremony with blood
Yeah.
everywhere.
That's the picture
I'm
that's going
seeing
to be on
that.
your wall for the next 20 years. You can't have
Yeah,
blood pouring out from it from your nose.
yeah. I'm seeing, so I'm there with the doc, like, oh, can we stop it bleeding? Like wiping it, got some Vaseline on it, it's kept bleeding, so cleaned it again. Come out, everyone's gone. Everyone's out in the tunnel. So I walked out like thinking, what's going on here? Like, and then I've got called straight out. So I've got a scarf put on, the flag, and then I've gone straight out. So I didn't have a chance to think about it. But my only regret from it is it all happened so fast.
Hmm.
I wish I'd got all the staff and all the young lads in with the celebration because we're all in it together. We've all been,
Yeah. Oh,
all been
yeah.
in it. I'm sure we'll have another time. Like
Yeah.
we might look
Yeah.
at it again at Maidenhead, but I should have stopped. It was all happened so quick, and I didn't even know where they were. It was only when I lifted the trophy and I was there, and then I think I went over to the north stand and turned around. All our staff was just stood on the right hand side. They weren't involved in the picture, but because they've been through it as much as the players, they worked just as hard, if not harder. So
Yeah.
they deserve to be in it.
Yeah.
But amazing scenes. Were you on the pitch?
We did go on the pitch. I have a 7-year-old who's become very invested in football this year. I think partly because it's been very exciting. So we did go on the pitch. We only went on the pitch by a few meters because I have a funny
Right.
thing in my head about pitch invasions. I don't. It's the whole hallowed turf type thing. But we did go on the
Yeah,
pitch and have a picture. Um, and then he was mascot recently at the Kidderminster match and kind of had a great time being a mascot.
amazing.
And stuff. So yeah, it's amazing seeing, like you said a bit ago, seeing all those young fans getting invested in the club. The trust have done a great job in engaging local schools and things
So
like that
good.
because you see Chesterfield shirts everywhere now.
Yeah, it's been crazy the last couple of weeks. Like the Kidderminster game, I didn't know I wasn't playing,
Mm.
and I was trying to get in on time. I was trying to get there to like see the gaff or whatever and make sure I'm there. It took me 25 minutes to get across the car park. Just kids, can you sign this? Can you have pictures? And like, it's great. It's fantastic because like they're they love the game, they love the club, but they're
Mm.
future fans as well. Like
Mhm.
some clubs I played for, like it's no disrespect to them because I've enjoyed my times there, but like Dover, I never saw any kids at the games. It was all like
Mm.
older people, and you just think,
Yeah.
where's the club's future there? But learn from Chesterfield. If you live in Chesterfield, you support Chesterfield, and you're really passionate about it. So,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
you get it. You get the good and you get the bad, which is what you want. You just want people being that passionate about it, and then just drives you on the pitch as well. So.
Mm. Great. Well, I've taken up far too much of your time. It's only going to have a short
That's
chat,
fine.
but once you get started, you just can't stop.
You bring back memories for me. I hadn't even thought about them seasons.
It's
I need
yeah. I
to.
mean, it's just funny, isn't it? Thinking about like looking back at pictures. There's a photo of Ryan Boot playing in net for Solihull in one of the COVID seasons, and there's
Yeah,
just snow all over the pitch at Chesterfield, and there's no one in the stands, and Ryan Boot's just like saving a shot for
yeah,
Solihull, and it's kind of all those times you think of the last 6 years, how we've kind of had to adjust to this league, and things have happened, and trusts have taken over, and managers have moved around a bit, and but then we've had a great it's kind of great that you then build up to that moment against Boreham Wood, and this season's just been so much fun. I've never, you probably not had it necessarily the same, but I've never had such a stress-free promotion running season. It's like a lot of the time it's been like, oh, we're only 17 points clear now.
Yeah,
It's incredible, really. I imagine for yourself, you've kind of been far too focused on the next game, and you're probably mentally ready, really ready for a break. But it has
we
been
we
just
we
fantastic, hasn't it?
it's been really strange having won it because you actually think look at the bigger picture. Like looking at the bigger picture now, I'm talking to
Mm,
you, but we actually the way the gaff works and the way we are, it's like how do we win the next game?
mm,
And I remember like people asking me like Phil Tullia do an interview and be like, oh, like what are you looking at? You look at the table. It's like I actually haven't looked at the table. I'm like, all we need to do, we've just played Rochdale at home. We need to go beat, I don't know who we were playing at the time. We need to go beat them away or whatever. It's just, we've just got them out of the way. We've ticked that off. Let's go and win the next one.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that's how it's been. And like, it's only when you win it that you like the veil comes off and you just relax a bit. And I think we obviously lost to York and um, York and Kidderminster,
mm,
which we shouldn't have lost either game. But you look at the lads, especially when I was watching against Kidderminster, they look absolutely shattered.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think that's it's a mental thing as well. And I think when you've give so much for so long, it's a lot of us, it's like 2, 3 seasons.
Exciting times. So you could, I mean, you could have another 5, 10 years here, yeah.
Oh, I'd love to. I'd love to. It's and you have to. I've learned through my career, you have to never get too high, never get too low
Mm,
because things can change really quickly. But like I've said time and time again, I just feel really privileged to be a part of this team, part of the club that's going where it's going, and hopefully I just get a good shot in League Two because I think the way the club's going, the way they're talking, you've got like the Kirk brothers
yeah, yeah,
that come in, like they're just so ambitious. They want the club to go higher, and I just want to be a part of it. I just want to stay on the train for the ride. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Be as good as I can, squeeze every last drop of out myself. That's what we're doing from now until start next season, hopefully.
Great. Have you already booked a holiday, or have you?
Yeah. So the club's got us a little trip to Marbella that
Nice.
we're going, which is really nice. It's incredible. We didn't have to do that. There's just like as a thank
Don't
you for the
announce the dates, or you'll have 2,000 Chesterfield fans
yeah,
there
no,
with
no.
you.
So they've done that, and then I'm going golfing with my dad. I've not played golf all this year, but I love
Nice.
golf.
Mhm.
So it'd be good to spend some time with him out there and some sun, get some sun. And then I'm going to Croatia for a bit, but I've got like them 3 weeks boxed off. Then I'm back at Loughborough Uni with the athletes training again, ready for pre-season.
Nice.
I think that
Oh,
really
that's the
helps me. Like,
attitude.
yeah, it's good. I like to do different things as well. Joe, when you train with people from different sports,
Hmm.
like, I go there, I train. Well, last year it was like a women's footballer, a hockey player, and a rugby player. And you train them and you just see like the dedication to their sport, but you also
Yeah.
different walks of life, isn't it? You learn things and you learn different training methods,
Mm.
and then you see some of the sprinters down there, and you think, oh my god, like if I could move like that, I'd be Miguel Freckleton. He's unbelievable. He can just run all day. Um, but just got to try and get better, little 1% here and there, and see where it takes us.
Mm. Well, on behalf of all Chesterfield fans, thank you very much. It's been one hell of a ride, and
Oh,
yeah, you go down in the history books now as the title winning captain that got us
yeah.
back out of the National League. That's the kind of thing that someone 100 years time from now kind of reads out from the history books. That's kind of amazing, isn't it?
It's such a proud moment for me. It's something like when we were talking about COVID, when I was looking at it, I was like, that's what I want. I want to play football for that. I want to play
Mm,
football for winning things in front of lots of fans, in front of passionate people and people that love the game rather than because I'd had so many bad times where I was like, talk about money and not people not
yeah,
really enjoying it. And that's what I wanted. So I've got what I wanted, but like at the end of the day, like I wouldn't have done it without the club and the players and the fans and just
mm,
like a whole joint effort. I just feel like everyone was pulling in the same direction and we've got the job done that way. It's just been incredible. Like that some of the atmospheres this season, like been so good.
yeah, yeah.
So good. Like the home games, like there's moments towards the end of games where you don't really notice it. until the moment of games. But it's always like 85th minute, we might be winning 2-3-0, and then everyone starts singing "We Are Sailing,"
Hmm.
and I just had that moment. I'm just like, yeah, this is it. You know what I mean? Like this is good. This is where I want to be. So it's just pleasure to be there. So pleasure to be a part of it.